mo wà ní ògbọ́n mo lè pàṣẹ mo lówó màá yan tálíkà jẹ́ ìkànnì koríko tẹ́yìn bá ti tẹ̀ o àtẹ̀gbé iṣẹ́ ẹranko nínú igbó màá nìyẹn kìnìún ewúrẹ́ ó pè jẹ wọn ò lẹ́bi èyí náà kí ó fa àyà ò lẹ́jọ́.
Àjíṣe bí Ọ̀yọ́ là á rí. Àjíṣe bí Ọ̀yọ́ là á rí. Àjíṣe bí Ọ̀yọ́ là á rí.
Àjíṣe bí Ọ̀yọ́ online television. Ọ̀yọ́ ìṣe bí ẹ̀dùn kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ìròyìn àsìkò tó kojú owó. Ọ̀yọ́ ìṣe bí ẹ̀dùn kọ̀ọ̀kan. Àṣà gbígbé lárugẹ bẹ lọ́dọ̀ àwa. Ọ̀yọ́ ìṣe bí ẹ̀dùn kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ káàkiri ìlú. Ọ̀yọ́ ìṣe bí ẹ̀dùn kọ̀ọ̀kan. Àjíṣe bí Ọ̀yọ́ TV ti máa gbọ́. Ọ̀yọ́ ìṣe bí ẹ̀dùn kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ètò òṣèlú tó níye lórí. Ọ̀yọ́ ìṣe bí ẹ̀dùn kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ìlanilọ́lẹ̀ nípa ìní ayé gbogbo. Ọ̀yọ́ ìṣe bí ẹ̀dùn kọ̀ọ̀kan. Àwọn aláǹtà ọ̀yọ́ lẹ́sìn. Àwọn aládìròyìn àwọn aládìrè. Wọ́n bá wá jáde dájú ilẹ̀ ayé. Ọ̀yọ́ ìṣe bí ẹ̀dùn kọ̀ọ̀kan.
Ṣé ń gbọ́ bó ṣe ń já lálálálá? Ẹ má yín kúrò níbẹ̀ ní ìkànnì Ajíṣebí Ọ̀yọ́ online television and radio www.ajisebiọyọradio.com. Ẹ ṣé tẹ́ ń gbọ́ ìkànnì wa o. Ajíṣebí Ọ̀yọ́ là á rí. Ọ̀yọ́ ò ní ṣe bí bàbá ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan.
Ọmọ ẹ̀tọ́ mi ní abẹ́ òfin ìwọ ń kọ́ ìyẹn jẹ́ ní fẹ́ni tí o mọ̀ ò má dá Ọlọ́run ò nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí oúnjẹ ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ni.
Ọmọ ẹ̀tọ́ mi ní abẹ́ òfin ìwọ ń kọ́ ìyẹn jẹ́ ní fẹ́ni tí o mọ̀ ò má dá Ọlọ́run ò nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí oúnjẹ ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ni.
Ọmọ ẹ̀tọ́ mi ní abẹ́ òfin ìwọ ń kọ́ ìwọ ń kọ́. Ọmọ ẹ̀tọ́ mi ní abẹ́ òfin ìwọ ń kọ́ ìyẹn jẹ́ ní fẹ́ni tí o mọ̀ ò má dá Ọlọ́run ò nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí oúnjẹ èèwọ̀ ni.
Ọmọ ẹ̀tọ́ mi ní abẹ́ òfin ìwọ ń kọ́ ìyẹn jẹ́ ní fẹ́ni tí o mọ̀ ò má dá.
All praises, adorations, and thanks belongs to Almighty God, doer of whatever he wills, Lord of incomparable power and magnanimity, the Lord that has spared you and I alive, hale and healthy, to witness today's program. From the last one that we did to the day that we are here today on your program, our program, Know Your Rights Under the Law, which is being brought to you by which is being brought to you from Ajíṣebí Ọ̀yọ́ Radio TV and in conjunction with Abdullahi Legal Academy. You are welcome here. You are welcome back here today to the recording of our program, which is called Know Your Rights Under the Law, as I said earlier. My name is Abdullahi Adebayo Abdurrauf. For some weeks before now, we've been explaining a topic which is known as your right to life and what you must know about the rights to life that you have under the law. And we have been able to explain so many subtopics under this topic, out of which I won't be able to mention everything here today. But during the last week lecture, I was able to explain the those offenses that are punishable with death in Nigeria, and I was able to classify those offenses, and I was also able to make mention of one of those offenses, and I was able to explain vividly one of those offenses too. And if you do not forget, I was able to classify all the offenses that are punishable with death in Nigeria into so many classifications. Last week, I was able to classify these offenses into some offenses that are applicable in all over Nigeria, that it is not material if you commit the offense in the southern part of Nigeria or in the northern part of Nigeria. Anywhere in Nigeria where you commit that offense, you will be punished with death. And there are some of these offenses that are punishable with death, but they are just applicable to some states of the Federation of Nigeria. It is not applicable to everywhere in Nigeria. So if you commit such offense in a state that is where these laws where this law is not being applied, you are free. You may just be punished with another punishment, but not with death. But if you commit these kind of offenses in the states where which these offenses are being applied, which these punishments are being applied by the law, the person will be punished with death. And there are some of these offenses that are punishable with death, but it is applicable to just some set of people, not applicable to everyone, just some set of people. And there are some of these offenses that are punishable with death. Even though it is punishable with death, but it doesn't require a person to kill another person before the person will be sentenced to death. And another one is that one that it requires the accused to firstly kill another person before the death sentence can be meted on how the meted out on the person that commits such an offense at that moment in time in that circumstance. Today, I shall move further by explaining another offense that is punishable with death in Nigeria, and that will be the second offense under those offenses that I have prepared here and that which I will be explaining, God's willing, on this program. Today we shall be explaining the offense called treachery. Treachery. Treachrey. Sorry, pardon. I beg your pardon. Treachery. Treachery. So this offense was established by section 41, section 41A of the Criminal Code Act. And relevant offense is also established under the Penal Code Act that is applicable to the part of Nigeria. This means that this offense that I'm talking about is applicable to all the states of the Federation of Nigeria. It is immaterial if a person commits this offense in the northern part of Nigeria or in the southern part of Nigeria. Anywhere in Nigeria where which this offense is committed, the person will be punished with death. And this offense that I will be explaining about also fall into the category of that offense that does not even require the life of another person to be lost. Once you are caught committing this offense, you will be entitled to be killed. It is immaterial if you it is immaterial if the offense, if the implication of offense has led to the death of another person or not. Once a person is caught doing this thing and is found guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction in Nigeria, the person will be sentenced to death. And treachery, when we're talking about treachery, what is the meaning of treachery under the law? Let me bring it into context. The context of what is it called? The context of meaning. Let me do a kind of semantic analysis of what this offense looks like. Treachery can also mean betrayal. Yes, betrayal. When you betray an authority that should not be betrayed, in the sense by which such authority should never be betrayed, it's being called treachery under the law. And this treachery, I don't want to give the meaning to I don't want to give the meaning of betrayal to it at large, because it has its own specific term. It has its own specific environment where which this offense works. The offense of treachery, maybe let me read from the primary source before I explain further. It says, we're talking about section 49A, Section 49A of the Criminal Code Act. I made mention earlier that it was under Section 41, but not Section 41. It's Section 49A of the Criminal Code Act. So, Section 49A of the Criminal Code Act establishes an offense known as treachery, and treachery is synonymous to betrayal. That means betraying an authority that should not be betrayed in a way by which such an authority should never be betrayed. And when we are talking about treachery here, we are not only talking about an authority alone. We are talking about the whole Nigeria. When a person betrays Nigeria, such a person is what? Is committing an offense known as treachery. But how will such a person betray Nigeria, and by which it will make that the conduct of such a person to become an offense? How will a person betray Nigeria, and after such a person has done so, it will now amount to an offense known as treachery? Let me read from the primary source. According to Section 49A of the Criminal Code Act, it says, if with intent to help the enemy in any war in which Nigeria may be engaged, any person does or attempts to do any act which is designed or likely to give assistance to the naval, military, or air operation of the enemy, to impede such operations of the armed forces of Nigeria, to endanger life, he shall be guilty of felony and shall on conviction suffer death. When Nigeria is in war with another country, the other country automatically becomes the enemy of Nigeria. If a person now have the opportunity to look into the structure, to look into the look into the intelligence, to look into the secrets of the military force of Nigeria, be it navy, be it army, be it air force, and the person now go to the enemy of Nigeria, in which Nigeria is in war with, and start leaking the secret to the enemy countries, such a person has betrayed Nigeria. And in this circumstance, it is called the offense of treachery. And this circumstance, if a person is found guilty of such an offense, according to Section 49A of the Criminal Code Act here, it says, and the person upon conviction shall suffer death. It means the person will be put to death if the person is found guilty of doing such a thing. If a person leaks the secret of the armed forces of Nigeria, it will endanger the life of the armed forces in general, and at the same time, it will endanger the life and property of the citizens of Nigeria. Because these armed forces are those that are defending the border of Nigeria. These armed forces are those that are defending the welfare of Nigeria against external attack, against external intervention, against those that may think that they want to attack Nigeria, that they want to bring Nigeria to ash. If a person now have an opportunity to see how the military or the navy or the air force is operating in Nigeria, and after seeing those secrets, after seeing those tactics, after seeing those information, after seeing those intelligence, now go to the camp of the enemy to leak that secret, to tell the enemy that, yes, this is how Nigeria is doing it. They have this, they have that. They want to do this, they want to do that. This is how they will attack. This is how they want to attack. This is how they're likely to attack. This is how they are likely to attack. They will appear like this. They must do like this. They will do like this. You now go to the enemy to divulge all those secrets to the enemy that are warring with Nigeria. the person has committed an offense known as treachery under the law. And upon conviction, if a person is found guilty, upon conviction, the person shall suffer death. No prosecution in respect of any offense against this section shall be instituted except by all with the consent of Attorney General or Solicitor General of the Federation. Well, though the person that might have committed this offense may not be sued, may not be arraigned in front of the court unless the Attorney General of the Federation or the Solicitor General of the Federation have consent with it. This is a matter of practice. This is a matter of the procedure of law. But now here, the salient issue, the central point that we are here to explain here today is that this is one of the offenses that may be punishable with death in Nigeria. If a person is found guilty of betraying Nigeria by divulging the secrets of the armed forces of Nigeria, either the military or the navy or the air force of Nigeria, to the enemies of Nigeria, to the enemy or the enemies of Nigeria when they are in war, which in turn will lead to endanger of life and properties of the armed forces or even the citizens of Nigeria, the person is committing a great offense that is punishable with not ordinary punishment, but with death sentence. Death sentence. You see, now, if a person divulge the secret of Nigeria to the enemies, at that moment in time, as it informed the life of the person, as the life of another person endangered, as any person being killed as a result of that, at that moment in time, it might not have happened. Yes. But immediately after they found that the person is doing such a thing, the person will be tried in a court of competent jurisdiction, and if the person is found guilty of this offense, the punishment is death. But the result of this may later lead to endanger of life. It may later lead to loss of life. It may later lead to even loss of liberty of the citizens of Nigeria. It will expose the citizens of Nigeria to dehumanization, to degradation, to torture. Because if the enemy are able to invade into the territory of Nigeria, do you know what will happen? I pray that we shall never experience such a thing. And this is why the framer of our law, especially the Criminal Code Act, bring it forth that if a person is found guilty of doing this, the person should be put to death. It will serve as deterrent to the other people that come. If you go and therefore, if you have the opportunity to see the secret of the armed forces of Nigeria, and you now say, yes, I'm on top of it, you now go into the camp of the enemy and divulge the secret of Nigeria armed forces to this enemy. If you are caught, this is what will happen to you. It will serve as deterrence to order. And at the same time, it will prevent further occurrence of such a thing. If they know that, hey, if I'm caught doing this, hey, it is death. And the person will run away from it. Everybody likes his life. Nobody wants to die. Nobody wants to die. Even the old men and women don't want to die. The old men and women, they don't want to die. So nobody wants to die unless the person is on a sick bed, in pain, in a severe pain, and even in fact, if the person is able to conquer the pain and he later comes alive healthy, he will never want the prayer that he was saying on his bed that God is going to take his life to come to in the next 50 to 100 years. So everybody likes his life. And this is why we must explain all the things, all the conditions by which you must abide with for you to enjoy that life that you have. For you to enjoy that life that you have, you must not engage in this kind of situation. You must not divulge the secret of the armed forces of Nigeria to the enemy of Nigeria. Yes, if you want to enjoy that right to life that you have. Because immediately that you are caught doing this thing, that right to life that you have, they will just seize it from you. And by then, you won't have any right to live again. You won't have any right to live again. Because once the court has found you guilty of doing such a thing, the court will just pronounce their sentence. And after then, many things happens. When the person is on the death row, you should just sleeping and waiting and eating and expect the day that his name will be called to go and meet the hangman. May you and I never be in such a condition and not in such a situation. Before I round up this lecture for today, I would like to go into what we have under the comment section. What I have under the comment section, so that if there is any question or questions, I will provide answers to those questions. And if there are any contributions so far or any comments, I will be able to. I don't know. I don't just know what is wrong with. I don't know. I don't just know what is wrong with my. No, I don't just know what is wrong. It's now I don't working. Know. I don't just know what is wrong with my. Okay. Okay. We have comments. Mohammed Taufik. Keep up the good work. Mohammed Taufik. He says, keep up the good job. I don't want to call Mohammed Taufik as Barrister Mohammed Taufik, because even as a student legal practitioners, we are just given the privilege to address ourselves as lawyers within the fence of Bayero University. Immediately after we go out of Bayero University, we are no more lawyers, but we are lawyers within the fence of Bayero University. We are student legal practitioners. We appear in court, we advocate, we sue people inside the school for civil matter. Yes, we sue and we argue at the union court. We have our judges, we have the attorney general, we have everything, and we have our courts. So Mohammed Taufik is one of my learning colleagues. He's a very brilliant one, and he has been a good learning friend. He's been supporting me, and he's here today too to make a comment on my program. I'm very grateful. So till another time that you and I shall be meeting, I wish you a wonderful legal day ahead.
ìrònú mi fẹ́ni tí ò ní lákòókò ohun tó ní tẹ́lómi ò ní ìwọ́kọ́ ọlọ́run tó fi kádàrá gbé ẹ o màmá ní ọlọ́run tó fi kádàrá gbé ẹ o.